Good afternoon. I thought as we enter the Labor Day weekend, be a great opportunity to pause and reflect where we are with COVID-19 and the reopening of school. So you probably are starting to become aware of the protocols that we are required to follow and that we are following when a student tests positive. When a student tests positive, that student will be asked to isolate for 10 days. And then we notify all of the families in our community. We work with the Oakland County Health Department on contact tracing. We identify students that may have been in close contact throughout the school day. Those families are contacted by Oakland County Health Department and the school and required to quarantine out of an abundance of caution just to make sure that we don't get widespread contamination at the school. So there's a couple things that I think are worth noting. When somebody tests positive, when a student tests positive, we need to be empathetic toward that student, not make fun of them. Kids, don't go on social media and talk about who got sick and why they got sick and what they did or didn't do to get sick. Getting sick is part of life. We've all been sick before, and we can't always control what happens to us. The thing that I do know about COVID-19 is that anybody can get it, so we all need to be as safe as we can and be empathetic towards students that do test positive, and also do everything we can to make the school and keep the school as safe as possible. There has been some concern about if we get into this situation where we're constantly notifying parents on a regular basis of a case that pops up today, tomorrow, or the next day. It is a requirement by the Oakland County Health Department that we notify our families each and every time that we have a case at the school, and we intend to do so. People ask me, how do I feel about the first 3 weeks of school? If I'm honest, I feel that very fortunate, and I feel like we've done a pretty good job. So we have roughly 1,200 students, faculty, staff, and administration between our 3 schools on our 2 campuses. To date, we have 3 positive cases, and we've got about 30 students that have been asked to quarantine as a precautionary measure. So what we're trying to do is be aggressive with the quarantine to prevent any unnecessary spread. We think that's important to keeping the school open. And I got to tell you, the kids that have been asked to quarantine and their parents have been terrific. For us to make this work, we've all got to work together. If the parents are honest with us, if the students are honest with us, we're honest with the Oakland County Health Department, we follow the proper protocols, we can get through this without having to close school, certainly not for an extended period of time, which is one of our primary goals. So from day one, we've said this over and over again. We think that kids are better in school than not, but we have to make sure that we keep the environment safe and we execute all of our protocols so that it remains safe and we can remain open. Keep in mind, from day one, this has always been about risk mitigation. It's not about risk elimination. I feel that the school is probably as safe as it's ever been in the history, not only our school, in the history of schools, with all the extra cleaning and hygiene and protocols and mask wearing. But it's not, we can't make it a completely perfect environment. And we know that kids are difficult sometimes to social distance. But I do have to hand it to the kids. I think you guys are doing a terrific job in trying to keep your masks on and social distance and avoid any unnecessary contact with your friends. And I think that's why we're having the results that we are having, which are fairly positive. The principals and myself had a meeting with an Oakland County Health Department nurse that's been assigned to our school. She thinks our numbers look great and was very impressed with them. And we'll be visiting the school next week to look at and review all of our protocols and also not only to help us, but to help other schools which are opening later or planning to open later in the year. So again, we're trying to set a good example of what schools can do and a path forward so we can learn how to operate our schools and our business and our lives, at the same time that this virus exists. Because the one thing that all the experts agree is this virus will be around for many years, so we got to figure out how to coexist with it, but do so safely. The message to parents, I do appreciate, just be honest with us, we'll be honest with you. We're being as transparent as we can with our protocols at the school. We are taking privacy laws very seriously. We are not spreading the names of particular students that come down with the virus. But parents do need to communicate when they're getting tested, what the results of those tests are, who they've been in contact with, why they're getting tested. All of that information helps us manage through these next few months better and more effectively for the entire student body. To date, it's been great. All the parents have been completely honest and transparent. We appreciate that, and we're trying to give the same courtesy back to you. I guess lastly, I just want to thank a few people, in particular our teachers. Our teachers have done an incredible job trying to teach students in person, as well as our synchronous and asynchronous learners. They care tremendously about your children, and they've been jumping through hoops to come in to the school to do their jobs every day. We've had many teachers coming in early to help with the health screening process. Many teachers working late to try and keep the high standards we have for academics up when we don't always have all the students in class every day, and that can be challenging. The administration has been working around the clock for 6 months. Wasn't much of a summer break for most of our administrators, but they're here for the benefit of your students. They're here for the benefit of kids. I particularly want to thank our maintenance staff. They've been incredible. Matt and Jake and Greg have been cleaning incessantly throughout the school day. Rick Winiarski, who's the supervisor of our facilities, has brought in extra janitorial staff. We've got regular cleaning throughout the day. Our teachers are disinfecting classrooms in between periods. We've purchased multiple sprayers to disinfect the cafeteria and large gathering areas in between uses. So there's a lot we can be proud of. There's a lot we're doing well. But we need to keep our eye on the ball. We need to make sure that we continue to exercise these protocols. We need to stay strong in the face of adversity. And together, we can keep the school open. We can keep kids where they belong. We can keep moving forward as a school and as a society. Just want to thank you all and wish you a very great holiday weekend. And remember, kids, if you practice safety at school, but don't do it on the weekends, it won't have the effect that it needs to have. So be safe this weekend, stay out of trouble, wear your mask, practice social distancing, and we can't wait to see everybody on Tuesday after a much deserved and needed relaxing weekend. Thanks, and have a great weekend.